Welcome back to Gene and Roger Talk Movies. The lovely Melissa Starkey is back for the second week in a row.
I know, I'm kind of killing it.
Well, you are killing it. The last episode is doing very well, of course.
Is
so
it?
apparently when we do special After Dark episodes with Melissa Starkey, it's a big draw.
We like the shock value
Apparently,
movies.
there's multiple depravity that we like to talk about, Melissa and I, and we're doing it again today. And Melissa, had you seen the original Human Centipede?
I had not.
Oh, so you're going in blind.
I went in blind.
Human
to
Centipede 2.
Yes.
It came out in, oh my gosh, I don't remember when this came out. 2012 maybe?
2011.
2011. Okay,
Yes.
Very good. So the sequel, of course, to Human Centipede. But let's get right in. Melissa, tell us about Human Centipede 2.
So I think this is the first one in a while that I'm like I don't recommend. And not because, like, is it disgusting? Absolutely. But it was, for it being, 90 minutes-ish, it felt longer. Like, it was, so Martin, he is definitely on the spectrum. He is, he reminded me, he gave me like Sloth from the Goonies vibes.
Right.
Yes. And so very short, stout man who apparently, I had to look into this because I was like, what is he watching? But he was watching the end of
So he's
movie.
He's enamored with the movie Human Centipede.
Yes. And centipedes in general. Mm-hmm. So he has one. He lives with his mother. I can't even, I don't know, like, he just has a lot of rage in his heart. He is mad at the world. His dad was a bad
sexually and phically abusive.
Yes.
They set that up.
And his mom has no sympathy for what he went through.
Nope.
She blames him. He decides that he's going to kill these people. And there's no rhyme or reason that I could get. Like, it was just random people.
Okay.
Was there?
Well, keep going along with your explanation.
Like the therapist, I got that.
Well, but here's the idea of Human Centipede 2. So what the overriding concept here is, and what I think director Tom Six is trying to say, is kind of the danger that can come from media and how we interpret media, right? Because the entire premise of this story is he loves Human Centipede so much that he believes he can replicate that action by creating his own Human Centipede, even though he's not a doctor, none of that stuff. And so on a certain level, the director is trying to set up this kind of potential dangers for media. Older people like myself, we remember Tipper Gore rallying against video games and heavy metal music and all of this stuff, how if we're consuming this stuff, it could lead us to these levels of evil and depravity. And so that's kind of the overriding little theme there as to why he does it. Now, why he chose the people he chose, that is just completely random.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like,
he's this guy that's just in the, what is he? He's like a security guard at a parking lot.
He was nothing shows you that he had any outside relationships, any friends, anything, other than he met with this therapist.
Well, he meets with this therapist who just does all the talking because Lawrence Harvey, who plays Martin, doesn't say a word of dialogue the entire film.
No, I know. And that was making me, like, I wanted to know what was going on, like, in his mind. And not only, there was no science behind what he wanted to do. Like, that, so he wanted to do it, but I don't think he had any intentions of, like, I know he was like a simple-minded man, but I don't think he intended for it to go on. Like, it was like a roller coaster, like a one and done, like, see if he could get this thing operating. I don't know. I don't know.
But see, I think, Melissa, you hit on a key element when you said what's going on in his mind. the movie itself is a representation of what's going on in his mind, because my interpretation of this film, because it starts with him watching Human Centipede in his little cubicle in the underground parking garage, and then it ends with the exact same scene. So my interpretation is that nothing that you see in this movie is real. It's all in his mind, and he's just been sitting in that cubicle the entire time.
That very well could be.
Well, because when you think about it, he's created this, well, he's abducted 12 or 13 people, I think it is. His Human Centipede ends up only being 10 people because
The pregnant lady,
and he kills a couple other people accidentally because he's not a surgeon and doesn't know how to actually do this stuff.
Do butt surgery.
Right. And so how could he get away with this, right?
Right.
And the randomness of the home life scenes. I don't know if you've seen David Lynch's Eraserhead or not, but in that movie, there's these very bizarre home life scenes where weird things happen that make no sense. I had significant Eraserhead vibes with all of the interactions between Martin and his mother, and then also that therapist guy, because there's one sequence where the mother has basically said, I'm gonna murder you and then commit suicide. And later in the film, there's a scene where she's trying to carry this out. She's stabbing the pill. It ends up being just pillows in Martin's bed.
Slits her wrists.
And then Martin's standing there, and then she decides, instead of to attack him, that she just cuts her wrist. The very next second, though, she discovers Martin's Human Centipede book and starts freaking out about that. And so it makes no sense that you've just deeply cut yourself and now you're just moving on to another scene here.
Right.
And so it really, to me, plays up the fact that none of this is actually happening. It's all in his mind, and he's just been sitting in that cubicle the whole time, further evidenced by the fact that he coerces the original actress from Human Centipede to show up, and then she ends up being the first part of the Human Centipede that he creates. Well, how did he do that? She's coming there thinking she's going to be in some Quentin Tarantino movie, right? So this is all, in my opinion, his twisted fantasy while he's just sitting there watching Human Centipede over and over and over again.
That you're onto something. Definitely onto something. So he kills the realtor, takes over this, what would you call it? Warehouse.
A warehouse, yeah.
Attacks all these people, gets them in there. Staples. So this is why I'm like, I don't recommend it. Not because of how gross it is. And is it gross? It's gross. Uh-huh. But if this is happening to me, I'm not going to care about some staples on my face. But he staples mouth to butt, and then duct tape, which isn't even tightly on there.
No.
And then tries to force them to defecate.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got to feed your centipede.
You got to feed it. But like when he was like massaging their bellies and stuff like that, I was like, oh, Martin, come on, man. But, and then like uses a funnel.
Right. She doesn't want to eat.
She doesn't want to eat out of a dog bowl.
Out of a
I
dog
don't know
bowl.
why. Yeah.
Well, see, the dog, so it's good, but also bad that you didn't see the original Human Centipede.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what he's doing, it was shown in the original movie.
I'm going to go after the first one now.
So like the dog bowl and you've got to feed, because the first one, there's an actual doctor, a crazy doctor who's doing all this stuff. And so the first one, it's like, oh, this is 100% medically accurate and all this stuff. And there's a great scene in the first one where he's explaining to the victims what he's going to do to them and how it's going to work.
That would be better.
Yeah. And so, again, that's why Human Centipede 2 is kind of cool in the fact that he's trying to replicate this without the skill, which then leads him to, here's an industrial staple gun that I am just stapling
and
you.
Duct tape.
Yeah.
And as you're watching this and they're given laxatives and it's like a train of poo but there was nothing wrong with their arms. Like I get that he like did something to their knees, but he's wearing a long white coat. Like, why are you not, like, they're holding hands with each other, not like trying to rip him to the ground and be, it was flawed. It's a flawed film.
But I think one of the beauties of this film, though, is, yes, it is horribly flawed, but when you look at it as the context of this is just his twisted fantasy,
Yeah.
it makes sense, right? Because the pregnant lady who appears to die, and so he drags her and put her
That
under
was
a tarp.
wild, by the way.
Then she actually gets up later in the film and flees, gives birth to the baby in this car that she's trying to escape from,
And then kills it
and then kills the baby by
on accident.
By
I don't even
flooring
think
it.
Yeah.
But that's all his weird fantasy, because how could he not be caught, right?
Right.
He's abducted 2 other people and left their young child in the car in the parking garage, and that kid is there for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I know.
How could you not be caught? 12 people disappear from this parking garage.
Right.
How could you not be caught, right?
Yeah.
And so it's really just this fantasy. And so things like, that weird pregnant lady scene, or even the scenes with his mother cutting her wrists and then he smashes her head in. And
He did a good job.
Yes.
You could see right through her.
And it's all just, no, he's been sitting there watching Human Centipede the whole time, just fantasizing about what he's going to do.
That makes sense.
It's also, what did you think of it being filmed or being displayed in black and white?
I liked that.
There is a color version of this film floating around, and it's not as good.
I wouldn't think it would be.
The black and white atmosphere, one, like I mentioned to Eraserhead earlier, the black Eraserhead's also in black and white, so you can get that connection if you really dig deep enough. But it just doesn't work as well in color, even though, of course, lots of blood in this movie, lots of cutting and just the teeth removal scene and stuff like that. But black and white, it just is much creepier, much weirder, much more off-putting, because everything in this movie is just kind of off a little bit. And I do like this movie.
And you have that right. I like, it had to be a super low budget movie.
Yes.
Okay. So I feel like with low budget movies, when they're in black and white, and I love older movies, it made it, like, 2011 wasn't that long ago.
Mm-mm.
So it feels like it's a lot older.
Yeah.
But that helps, because like nowadays, if somebody's missing for 12 hours, you're going to know, you know what I mean? So like for them to have all these people go missing and baby in the car, like nobody's on their, I don't know. It just makes it more realistic. That's about the only realistic thing.
It's not often that Melissa Starkey
doesn't have words.
Is speechless, basically.
I don't have words. I wish that they're like, Gene, has he seen this?
Of course not. So Gene and I did.
Oh, there's an evil rape scene.
Yes, there is, but he was kind enough to do the original Human Centipede on our show.
And didn't like it.
Well, of course not.
Okay. Okay.
And there's no way I would even broach the subject of Human Centipede 2 with him, because there's no chance.
Okay.
And so Melissa Starkey is my go-to for these types of movies.
And I'm still game. This one is just like not going to be like one I'll rewatch, or I don't know, but I am going to seek out the first one.
The first one I think you will find much more enjoyment with.
Yeah.
I like the first one a lot more than this one, just because I love Dieter Lasser plays the doctor, and he's just completely awesome because he's so insane. His idea of Human Centipede is completely bizarre and makes no sense, and he's just overjoyed when he creates his Human Centipede.
But you said he has science behind his...
Yeah, no, he's an actual doctor.
So this guy, there was no logic going into, like, I know it's not supposed to, and my husband gets so mad when I say things like, it's so unrealistic, and he's like, all you watch is horror movies, you think that they're all realistic, and I'm like, 5 friends get lost in the woods all the time. But no, this one, you lost me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do better.
Well,
you do better.
Well, I guess it's my fault, I guess.
No. I'm happy that I can, and we are at work right now, and I walked in the door at 8 a.m. and we've been talking about this film out there pretty much all morning. So
yeah, and the director himself has made statements that he purposely tried to make this movie as appalling as he could.
yeah,
And
banned in Europe.
yes, so this movie received significant aggressive backlash with good reason. It is not. There's not a lot of artistic value going on into this movie. Let me put it that way. And so Europe is generally like, look, the movie itself is about somebody replicating atrocities that he's seen on another movie. And so they're really careful with stuff like that. And so it was banned for a long time. It is available now in overseas, certain European countries, significantly edited. So the raping of the human centipede once he's created it, that's not obviously in there. The sandpaper sequence is not in there. A lot of the graphic violence is cut away. So I think the prints that are floating around in some of these countries that I think Australia, it's still completely banned, but Britain or whatever, it's maybe 80 minutes long. So 11, 12 minutes of it are just gone.
I don't think that's right. I think you needed those parts to, there's not a whole lot of talking.
No.
There's not a whole lot of, it's this fixation on centipedes. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you can't cut that part out.
No. Well, I'm generally against chopping movies out unless the director themselves wants to remove things or,
right.
I want their vision to come across. So I always seek out the unrated version. I was actually glad that you could not find it on streaming because I'm certain you would have found a edited version on streaming. And so the fact that I was able to have you watch the unrated director's cut of Human Centipede 2 brought me great joy, even though you were appalled.
Yes. Yeah. And speaking of editing, you're going to have quite a bit of editing to do on this with how speechless I have been.
Nope, I'm gonna leave it in because we've worked for years together, and Melissa Starkey loves to talk, and she will even break out into song periodically. And the fact that she is held speechless by Human Centipede brings me great joy, actually.
Oh, I'm so happy for you on this Friday.
But Melissa, any further things to say about Human Centipede 2?
I mean, I would want to be the head of that train. Yeah, that's I guess if that's all I got.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. I appreciate you coming on. Jean once again could not be on, so we're getting a double dose of Melissa Starkey. We talked about I Spit on Your Grave last week, and now Human Centipede 2, and I look forward to being able to sit down with Melissa in the future.
Of course.
On some other completely appalling movie.
Yes,
that just brings us great joy. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.